Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is 5 o'clock on a Wednesday. That means it's club call time. This is your opportunity to give us a call. Let us know how you feel. Listen, there must be about 1 million people on the phone, surely, because there's so much going on at Everton. I mean, apart from buying people, of course. There's a lot going on. Last week, we had loads of people giving us a call. This is your opportunity. Get on Toffee TV Premier. At the top, there's the link. Click the link. And get in touch with us and let us have your thoughts about what's going on right now. Huge week for the club. Big game on Saturday against Southampton. We know there's a sit-in after the game. We know there's a letter gone in from fan groups and ourselves. There's a meeting tonight with the Fab to find out how people feel. An open meeting. There'll be one on Sunday as well. There's one on Zoom tomorrow as well. There's so much going on. There's a bus, if you're going to be positive, there's the bus welcoming as well on Saturday. It's a huge few days for Everton. That really feels like so much at stake, including Frank Lampard's job if Everton don't win on Saturday. So get in touch. Get your calls. Listen, if there's a lot of people and you're in the queue, let Ned know who's on the line, and we'll get to you fast. If there's a lot of people, we'll get through the calls fast. So please do call in. We want to hear you hear what we say all the time. We want to hear what you said. This is your opportunity to get in touch. Also, if there's anyone watching from any other of the groups and you want to give us a call and you want to tell us what's planned for Saturday, then give us a little message as well. Drop us a line or DM one of us on Twitter or something if you don't know, and we'll get you on to tell us what's going on at the on Saturday as well.
Yeah, don't DM me, because I'm not on Twitter.
That's nice. Just DM me or DM Toffee TV, and Ned will look through that. If there's anyone watching as well and you want to come on and tell us exactly what's going on Saturday. Lots of banners planned. I've seen loads of banners, and yeah,
people have all put money in, haven't they, for
Brilliant.
the banners?
It's been amazing reaction. It feels like it's really going to stick this time. It feels like things are, moving.
It's a line in the sand, like I said the other day, and it's gone past it. And I think for Everton fans, it's people want change now, and they want a better Everton, however that looks. And I think, like I've said many times, I don't think a couple of wins are going to change this now. I think it's moved on. I think people are realising that we need more. We need to see evidence of real plans. We need to see real effort to make changes, a real effort to be better. Year after year goes by and we don't seem to make any progress, and that can't be right. If everybody is genuinely doing the very best of their ability to make this club better, I think we would see some kind of progress. So I question whether everybody is giving everything to make this club better. What is the desire? Is the desire to be Premier League champions and play in Champions League and win trophies? People can laugh at that, but there has to be the desire, surely. Everything you try to achieve surely should be the very best of what you can be. Now, if you aspire to win the Premier League, aspire to win cups, aspire to play in the Champions League, then okay, you might fall a bit short, but surely by wanting to do those things, you're going to get on that journey. You're going to be better than what we are. And then you might have to adjust as you go, or you might have to go, right, we can only get to this level, so what can we do then to get to the next level? Is that more investments? Is that better people? Is that better players, or whatever? The atmosphere need to be whatever. The crowd have shown, the fans have shown in the last 12 months, they've stepped up. Yeah. They've stepped up no matter what. 10,000 almost went to Old Trafford on a Friday night in the week after Christmas, when people have had to pay money and it's an expensive time, and they went on a Friday night without loads of hope, having just been spanked at home.
Yeah.
The crowd showed it. They showed up at Finch Farm last season, the blue smoke. They were sell-out home and away. The crowd regularly show up. We've all been asked to pay extra money to keep our, for our season tickets for next season, based on the back of, you had a season ticket at the Liverpool Empire to watch plays, and they were getting worse and worse and worse and worse. would you go back? Well, probably not. But if you did, and then they went, oh, by the way, it's also another £100 for your season ticket next. Even though it's crap and it's getting worse and there's no hope it's going to be any better.
Do you know what, right? Do you know what? You know the old adage, and you can tell me when I'm wrong here, by the way. The old
Will you accept it though? Normally you won't accept anyone telling you wrong.
Listen, I will always accept when someone tells me I'm wrong in the darkest, deepest part of the back of my head.
Oh, okay.
Just doesn't register at the front of my head.
Go on. Listen, what's the adage? The old adage?
The old adage is you can't change your football club, right? I don't think that's right anymore. I think kids...
move club.
Yeah.
You mean?
I think
kids. I was say, if you're saying we can't change our football club, what are we doing? Stop getting flags. Stop going.
I think nowadays, I think
you can move. I think
kids
football
will
club.
easily. I think kids would, if they were Everton fans or go Everton fans, and you just said you want to come and watch City, I think they'd soon just go and watch City and would go and watch them and become City fans.
I think
quickly.
right.
If they haven't got that,
I was gonna say I think it's difficult if you go in the game. I think it's harder. I think if you're just an Everton, Liverpool, United, whoever, you don't really go the game that often, but I think it's easier to move then, of course. I think I just think of
parents are doing anything for the
I just think of my lad, season ticket holder, 11, season ticket, been a season ticket holder for years.
Yeah.
I often say to him, support Man City. Make your life happy. I'm telling you now as an 11-year-old, for all of these years that I've supported Everton, I've seen us win the league twice, which is incredible.
Yeah.
You'll do well, son. At 11, if you see Everton win the league twice in your lifetime, I've seen us win, FA Cups, the league, whatever. To go and support City, and he just goes, Dad, shut up, Evertonian.
Some people will, though, won't they? They'll do anything for the kids. Listen, I see people whose kids are Liverpool fans, and I think, how do you buy a kit for them?
No, I couldn't do that.
Exactly.
I've told him he can support anyone, but he can't support them.
Yeah.
I would do anything, but I won't do
I
that.
would do anything, but you can't
for love,
support them.
But don't support them. Yeah, and listen, that's the way it is. So people will have, I am quite sure there'll be a lot of people with a lot of opinions and all of that. So let's see what people have got to say. Brian Ball says, evening all, ready for a therapy session. Danny Cathcart says, I think I'm losing the will to live, waiting for some transfer action to happen. Someone's put bloodbath in the comments. Trevor says, score prediction for Saturday. Absolutely. He's gone for 2-1 to Everton. I think Everton will win on Saturday. I really do. It'll be tight and it'll be nervy and all, but I can see Everton getting the 3 points on Saturday. The issue is we've then got to follow that up, because I still think for the manager, whether you're Frank Lampard, in, out, whatever you are, for him, I don't think one win in the next 2 games is enough for him. I think he's got to Saturday got to be the 3 points, or I think he will lose his job. But I think he has to then follow that up at West Ham if he gets a win with, not saying he has to go to West Ham and win, but he has to go to West Ham and not get beat, I think then you can start going, right, we've started again now, because then after that, don't forget, it's Arsenal home, Liverpool away, which are 2 horrible games, aren't they, let's be honest. So, but we can only talk about the next game, can't you? You can only look at the next game too often, and I've been guilty of this, and we all have too often. We've looked ahead going, we win that one and we could get something there and we could win that one, and before you know it, you've lost it all, haven't you? So Bob says, I think the board is not thinking beyond the new stadium. All their decisions are short term, and that is a recipe for disaster. Marcus Jones says, how long is this board going to remain silent for? It's horrible. The Blues says, I think the club are taking their usual stance of, we'll see what happens. Probably are, mate, aren't they? They probably are. Cruel Hoaxer says, no transfer action until Frank has either gone or staying after Saturday.
It's not a good way to look at
that. That isn't a good way, is it? Rondon the legend, who's moving to River Plate, did you say? But he's still watching us, so hello, mate. Says, hello, lads. TJ Mid says, I'd like to see Vinagre play in a back 5. He looked decent going forward the couple of times he's played. There's a reason, though, isn't there? There's obviously a reason why he's not getting in.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe he's not impressing. Is his attitude good enough in training? I don't know. But there must be a reason why he's not even getting in. He's not even getting like on the pitch for the last 20 minutes, is he? So, maybe the manager doesn't think he's good enough. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Gary Ward says, howdy. Jack says, evening fellas, hope you're well. Saturday's a huge game, as we know. For me, 5 at the back has to stay. Maybe use McNeil deal as the left wing back instead of Miko. The wing backs have to play high against them, and I feel we can get better service to Dom that way. Maybe use them for the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes at Old Trafford the other night, so we'll see, I guess. Ben says, alright lads, listen to the transfer show there, and the lad saying was similar to Leeds. They finished below us last year, and I'd say probably all of their midfield attack barring Bamford would either get in our side or be serious squad players. They're adding a 35 million striker to that too, and we're doing nothing. We can't just keep waiting while teams around us improve. Got to do something, haven't we? Absolutely. RCO2 says, do you lads reckon Danjuma is gonna happen? Apparently the newspaper closest to the club has said we're pushing hard, and Villarreal are happy with our deal. I don't know. It depends on the structure of the deal, doesn't it? I guess Everton apparently are interested, but they're interested in Ouattara as well. We'll have to see. Something's got to happen, hasn't it? Something's got to happen. Let's hope it does as quickly as we can. Right, we've got our first caller.
Okay.
Have we? It's Pat, is it? Ned? Yeah, it's Pat.
Hello,
mate.
Hey, this team just keeps getting a little bit more depressing, but hopefully better things, maybe?
Hope so, mate.
You tell us.
The Leeds person is right, because Leeds is getting a lot of coverage here in the U.S. because of Marsh and Aronson and Adams. Like, think of it this way. They bought, on the last day, they even stumbled into Willie Gnonto, who was just kind of a player that they thought maybe they could use because they didn't get a couple other players they didn't want on deadline day.
Yeah.
Turns out great. They have Sam Greenwood and Crescencio Somerville, and those are their whole pipeline thing, which apparently Leeds fans make fun of a lot. But how are they, a team that was out of the league for near 2 decades, are outdoing a team that hasn't dropped out of the top flight since the 50s? How is their academy producing these players who can attack and score? Now they can't defend, and do all these things and have good, interesting players, and our academy produces Anthony Gordon and Tom Davies.
I think, well, just on the academy one, I think Everton's academy's been pretty poor for the last few years. It's been run really poor since it. Again, it's another part of the club that should have been revolutionarised under Fard Moshiri and went backwards because, again, really, really soft, easy appointments. Everton then got done for tapping up kids. We had a ban. We know for a fact that some youngsters came out who left and said there's no pathway. We've kept older people till they were 27 and 28 or whatever it was, to win trophies at that level, and it's quite frankly it's just been again another really poor part. And you know it's poor because when Thelwell came up, he ripped it all up. We got rid of people, basically sacked David Unsworth, got him out, has managed to get rid of basically all the coaches he had. Promoted Paul Tate, put Baines in there, and it's just been really poor. I think the other problem is with it being poor and there being Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, also the likes of Wigan here, where they Wigan give people the opportunity to go there and get in the first team quite young as well. All these things have stopped Everton's academy from doing well, and then the mishandling of players who come through. We had a good chat yesterday about Tom Davies and how when he came through, the swashbuckling player he was, and look at him now. He's still only like 24, and it's just nowhere near the same player.
Rangers,
his development has been completely stunted by all these managers, and we've
had that with others as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen people like, I mentioned this yesterday, but obviously Thierry Small went, I know he hasn't done anything, but he wanted to move on. Emilio Lawrence has left Everton to join City. Whether he does anything, I don't know. But certainly Mohamed Ali Cho, who's doing well at Angers in France and has got Liverpool are looking at him, Dortmund are looking at him. He walked out of our academy 18 months ago because he didn't see a pathway to it. And he may well have been in our team right now. He's probably what the kind of player we need, who's quick and direct and has got goals. So things have got to improve. And Leeds, what Leeds have done, and I watched something on the Leeds Academy actually last year. It's all about culture. It's all about doing very similar to what the first team do. It's about wanting to do better. I don't know whether that culture runs right the way through at Everton, and maybe that's what Kevin Thelwell's trying to change right now, and Leighton Baines is trying to change. Paul Tate. We're not, sadly though, just right now, Pat, we're not going to see the fruition of that. And in that Leeds Academy thing, actually, in their academy, there's 4 Scousers.
Yeah.
So, they've gone to Leeds rather than one of the Everton or Liverpool.
And imagine, think of just another person who would have been a nice left back, who was in the Everton Academy, who's playing for a Premier League team and doing pretty well, and is the starting left back for the USMNT.
Yeah.
Anthony Robinson. He could have literally, if we gave him the time, he could have stepped in after Baines retired.
Could have been a backup, couldn't he? He couldn't have. He wouldn't have ousted Luca Dean, would he? Let's be honest. But he should have been Luca Dean's understudy, maybe.
Exactly, and if we sold Dean, then he could be starting now.
Or be there for Michalenko, battling it out with Michalenko. But no, there's no doubt we've made mistakes, Pat. But when you look at it, Pat, there's disagreements in the studio over this. I think Everton have still. I do agree with Ped. If it stays as it is, it's going to be very, very difficult for this team to stay up just because there's no goals in it. But just taking that aside just for 1 second, do you think the manager is extracting everything he could from these players, or do you think that a different manager would get more out of these players? What's your point of view on that one?
I think because he's a midfielder, he is clearly. So I haven't looked at the with or without you stats, as they call it in hockey. I don't know what they call it here, but I think every time Onana comes off the pitch, we look significantly worse defensively.
Yeah.
We look really bad defensively without him, and on set pieces, we always look worse without him, defensively, anyways. But I think that what he's done with Onana and Iwobi shows he can teach the position he played brilliantly throughout his career. I don't know if he's extracting everything else out of other players. I feel like you've seen Damari Gray, there's something to extract, at least something. Maybe we're getting, 90% of Damari Gray right now. I think a better manager could probably get 95, 96, 97% of Damari Gray's potential out of him. Maybe not the top tier, maybe not becoming, a regular Premier League level, top 6 starter or whatever, which I think is what his talent would suggest his top end potential is, but someone I think could get better. I think outside of the midfield, and you're never going to, Ghana is who he is now. There's no developing him. I don't think he's getting everything out of these players. And the defense that I talked about earlier, about the stats of not giving up shots and playing that kind of Lucien Favre style, run out, block shots, close things down, guide the ball to where you want it to go, that's failing now. And it's failing mainly because of, Pickford's not being as good as he was at the beginning of the season, and B, we are not providing any attacking threat against that. So I feel like both the system and the individual coaching from Frank, outside of those 2 midfielders, is letting us down. And that's where I'm starting to come to the point where I don't know that he can do it.
Yeah. No, you're all right. I think a lot of people feel like there is definitely more that can be gotten out of this squad, and because I don't think they're all terrible players as such. And are they coached well enough? Are they playing in the right formations? I don't think Frank's done himself any favours at all. Especially by moving it around, moving the formations around as well. So this is going to be a huge weekend to see how we set up, and the result could be Frank Lampard losing his job. I imagine if things don't go well on Saturday.
Yeah, and I remember the right before the World Cup, even after that disastrous week at Bournemouth and Leicester, I think, we were talking about players that could come in on loan and announce, like we did Mikolenko on the 31st, right on Christmas. And I said, coming off the World Cup, that maybe it was unrealistic to go get Tim Weah. He's, again, playing even less for Lille than he was now, than he was before. And he's healthy, and he's playing even less. We could go and what do we have to lose, and what do Manchester United have to lose to giving us Jadon Sancho for 5 months, like the João Felix deal? What do we have that's going to be bad? I'm trying to think of other wingers who aren't playing. Hakan Ziyech, same thing. Like, yeah, he might be playing now, but it's clear maybe they're trying to pump up his value. Go get him for 5 months. Say, Chelsea, hey, we'll improve his transfer value for you. No buyout, no optional or mandatory buy clause. We'll pay a little bit of his salary. Go do something like that. That's 3 players, and those are just big names. I'm sure Everton have a bigger list that they could go to. Given that, how long did it take Chelsea to do the João Felix deal? That doesn't even seem to be a huge amount of money for a 5-month loan. We could have had this wrapped up, and we could be moving forward with a team that had potential. But nothing. Like, going into that City game, we should have even... Was that over past the 1st of January?
No, City was 31st, wasn't it?
Yeah, but going... Yeah, okay. So after that, we could have had a better chance going forward, but instead we're looking like the same Everton that has had the same problem.
Don't forget as well, Pat, it's all... I accept it isn't easy, but they had a lot of time to prepare for this, a lot of time to know what they needed. We knew what we needed when the window shut in August. They had a lot of time to prepare for this. It's not like Dom got injured in December and all of a sudden you're going, oh my God, we need something like it isn't dead easy, but when you've got a lot of time to prepare, you should know. And if you can bring someone in, it creates a different feel around the place. We done it with, remember? It's at a different level because the club was already under Moyes, it was sound, but like when we got like Landon Donovan in at Christmas, even though Everton were alright, he brought Donovan in straight away, and it just that keeps the tempo going of everybody. And the fans would have felt a bit more like, well, yeah, you know what, they are kind of, we do seem like we know what we're doing, we do seem like we know what we need, and just waiting just gives, even if they are working day and night to solve things, it just gives the impression that we're not doing anything and games are flying by. It's all right if this was the break. You know what I mean? If this was the break at the moment, but it was in the transfer window, that's a different thing. You're not playing games, but on Saturday becomes the 3rd Premier League game that we've played this year, but we've also played another 2 at the end of it. So 5 games since we come back from the World Cup will have gone by. That 5 games is huge. And Everton, unless they win Saturday, won't have won any of them. So, got to start winning, and it's got to be now. Really?
Yeah. It's just because I think that Frank is good at seemingly managing and getting the people on board and fighting for him, but at some point, spirit and fight isn't enough. You have to have talent. The whole, what's it? A lot of the clubs have this quote up, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. The problem is that great, we work really hard, but we don't have the talent. So even if we match them in intensity, we're going to lose that. So the only time we're going to win is if a more talented team just doesn't try as hard as us. That's putting a lot on just will and grit and graft and determination.
Yeah. Well, that's it, and that's the problem, though, isn't it, Pat? Because that's what you end up being. You end up just being a team that works hard, and there is no skill, and there is no craft or talent, and that's a bad place to be. That if that's what you've only got left is just, I'll battle this team or we'll outwork this team. The Premier League's more than that. That's what it used to be. Every team now has got a little sprinkling of something in it, and if Everton don't find that really, really soon, or don't know how to use the little bit they've got right now, then it's going to get a hell of a lot worse. A hell of a lot worse. And that's where we're heading to, and that's why Saturday again is so pivotal. And the irony is Saturday could be all about just outworking Southampton, just being the first to the ball, the second to the ball, winning all, winning every tackle, making sure everyone does the jobs. Because we are playing a team who, at the moment, seem to be worse than us, and if we can't get something out of it, then 3 points for me, anything else is unacceptable. Then we're going to be in massive, massive trouble, and it will spell the end for Frank Lampard, I believe, if we don't win.
Yeah, and I know that both you, Ped, and Baz have talked about not necessarily liking, as a concept, the possession style, and I'm starting to, again, feel the same way I did at the end of Bobby Brownshoes' tenure, where it's meaningless. It's toothless possession. And I started watching soccer, enjoying that style, but I'm even starting to see what you said, Baz, that this is going out of style. I'd like to see some more verticality. I'd like to see, what's the Celtic coach's name?
Postecoglou. Angie. Call him Angie.
Angie Postecoglou.
Yeah, I would like to see him in, because I think that style not only suits some of the more athletic players, but I think the Everton fans would at least, and I think we'd respond to it a lot better. That sort of high pressing, vertical movement style. That's kind of what I think would be very exciting for us.
The hybrid way for me is the best way to play. I think to be fully possession, you've got to be Man City. That's just what I feel. I think other teams are poor imitations of it. I think hybrid is, yes, you can play that if you're able to at times, but don't be afraid to play vertical passes. Don't be afraid to knock it long. Don't be afraid to get wide and get crosses and have shots in, and you work hard. I think that's what Evertonian, I can speak for everyone, obviously there'll be Evertonians, I'm sure, watching this that would love us to play like Man City, but I think a lot of what Goodison responds to is working hard, pressing the ball, tackles, crosses, shots. When Goodison responds like that, that's when you can't hear yourself think. And that's when Everton win games of football, I think. When it's slow and knocking it from side to side, I think the energy just drains out of Goodison. Yeah. It did against Wolves. In a game where we should have been pushing on and going for it, it was quiet.
To be honest though, Baz, I felt like for the first time in a while against Brighton, the energy drained out the place before anyone went in there. I felt like it drained out an hour before kickoff when the team was announced. I really do, and that's a really bad sign. That, by the way, and a lot of the time I do when I see a team come out, I bite me tongue, even though, because I always think, well, you don't
see what happens.
What happens. You don't know how they're going to line up. You don't know what jobs they're going to be given. But I really felt against Brighton that after what had happened at City, I think, and I was walking down the road, and I heard the team going, I heard groans around me.
Well, we were driving to the match, and I was like, why has he done that? Why is that? Why are we doing this? Why? And they're a good side, Brighton, obviously, and they proved it on the night. But we need a win, Pat, and it's as simple as that. We need to by hook or by crook.
Thanks for your call, mate.
Yeah, as always, Pat. Top man.
Thanks, mate.
Take care, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the irony is saying, we're going to have to work hard and all that. Whoever comes in is going to have Everton working hard, because you couldn't come in and change this style immediately. The first thing you can do, the first small wins you do, is you work harder than the opposition. You use what you've got. What have we got? Well, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fit, and there's no reason he shouldn't be, well, we've got a lad who's tremendous in the air. Let's give him that service. Let's create some chances for him.
Right, Father Moshiri has just put out a letter, and to be frank, it's an absolute disgrace. I will tell you right now that he's just put out a letter. Dear Everton Fans Forum, thank you for your letter, and also more importantly, for everything you do for the club. As a majority shareholder, I am a proud custodian of Everton, and I have the utmost respect for the support of Evertonians. I also am fully aware and understand the concerns that the fans may have. I hope Through my 2 open letters to fans in the last 12 months, I've provided clarity on my position, commitment and direction of the club. I trust that you also agree that the club operates at a well-structured and ongoing dialogue with not only the forum but also the FAB, the Supporters Club committees and many other fan groups from most robust fan communication network of any club in the Premier League. Shut up. Oh my God. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? I'll give you one clue. In almost 7 years since my arrival at the club, I have significantly increased my investment at any new stadium, and the new stadium has become a reality. We regularly review our performance and initiate change where we feel that the club falls short of the standard. This has meant that we have seen a turnover in managers, directors of football and several board members, but also as we strive to achieve success, while in virtually every instance change has been supported and encouraged by fans. Stability must be key to progression. This is the really, really bad bit. I have faith in the work being done by not only our manager, but our director of football and our board of directors. That faith is based on my knowledge of the depth and quality of work being done at Finch Farm and the Royal Liver Buildings, and of the plan that is in place. I am confident that we have skilled and experienced and focused professionals at all levels of the club. We are all guaranteed that our current league position must and will improve. I welcome the plans for the FAB to host a series of sessions with fans to gather feedback, thoughts and concerns of which the forum is part. I can confirm representative club's board will engage with the FAB and meet the designated representatives to discuss the collated fan feedback as soon as possible from the completion of the scheduled sessions. The focus of myself and the club and the fans are aligned. They are not a better Everton. I am confident that we will move forward and in constructive and positive manners. Best wishes, Farhad. What a load of absolute shite that is. Utter shite. You had your chance to make and do something positive, and you have gone back to what you always do, which is just absolute nothing. What a load of shite that is. Utter shite. Ned, can you make sure that gets tweeted, please? Thank you.
Not utter.
No, don't have to put utter.
Yeah.
I've written that on my own personal. That is utter nonsense.
It's not great.
I'm flabbergasted by that. That is absolute.
I'm not.
No.
Honest, I'm not flabbergasted. That to me just is, and a lot of people, and I've seen it in the comments before, of people saying, "Why do we need the board to speak? We know what they're gonna say." That sums it up. But you know what? What will happen is the fans won't accept that, and therefore he's literally poured a little bit of more, petrol on the flames, if you like, because he could have said something like, "Well, what can he say until he's gonna do something about it?" There's very little he can say, really, that's gonna appease anybody, is there? So the fans will.
This is the fans forum response. To Farhad Moshiri, we're writing this open letter to ask you to. Oh, sorry, this is the initial letter.
Have been the initial letter.
Sorry.
So there's no response. There won't be a response yet.
Sorry, that's the initial letter. But it's awful. Sorry, it's an awful response.
Well, that's why people have said, there's no point in asking them to say anything, because they're not going to say what's going to appease people. So, Steve writes, "Great show, lads. Hello from the Bahamas. Blue. Hello, Steve. I'm sure it's warmer in the Bahamas than it is here." Con says, "Baz Anthony Robinson has been way better than both Dean and Miko this season." Yeah, this season, but Luca Dean was very good for Everton. So when Anthony Robinson was sold, he was never getting in front of Luca Dean, was he? It's good that he's improved. Absolutely, it's good. People aren't happy with that. The golfer said made it worse, that rather than not.
If you've just heard the letter, come and get on the phone. One caller we've had so far. Come on, we've been on for 35 minutes. Let's get some callers on to tell us how they feel about that response by Farhad Moshiri. Because what that response basically says is, I'm happy with the board and I'm happy with the manager and I'm happy with everything that's going on at Everton Football Club. We're in the bottom 3. We haven't signed a player yet. Everything basically, to me, that's the meme, isn't it? It's the meme. This is all right. That's the meme. So get on the phone and tell us. what you think about that?
Martin Longland said he's full of crap. TJ Mid said well structured, ? Carla Byrne says, is he drunk? Clarity my arse. Question it all says generic. Yeah. The Blue says told you, he doesn't give a toss, I'll say. I'm paraphrasing. Jez says probably took them 3 weeks to write that open letter. Trell Ali says the man actually said, I gave you 2 letters in a year, what more do you want? The Golfer says, yours sincerely, Mr. Bill Kenwright. Carla says, he's a joke, the letter is worse than the silence. The Matty Boosh says, did he get good time Bill to word it for him? The Blues, I preferred silence to that bollocks. Rondon the Legend says worse now, rather not hear anything. Baked Toffee, who had said it'd just be lip service before, says told you, lip service. Sophie says 100% that letter was written by Kenwright.
I don't think it was written by Kenwright.
I know it was written.
I know it was written by
Bill. David Eo says no change, you pat my back and I'll pat yours. From Moshiri to the board and the board to Moshiri. Yeah, basically people not happy with that letter, which they were never gonna be. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather they just don't say a word than to say something like, I know it's difficult because what could they have said, but that wasn't very good. To say you're happy with everything when the club is out of both cup competitions, there from bottom, has won 1 game in 12, hasn't signed any players. That to me is a little bit berserk.
Right, we've got Glenn on. Glenn, you there?
Happy New Year, guys. How you doing?
Happy New Year, Glenn.
It's the 11th.
I mean, you're 11 days late, but Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's now, Glenn. Come on. I'm only messing.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
Yeah,
what do you want to say?
Go on.
I mean, obviously the letter's come out, and it's kind of bamboozled me because it wasn't what I was going to say. And my question was, when is it kind of too late, do you think, in the transfer window to change managers? Because I don't want to be the first club in the history of football to change on the last day of the transfer window, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we announced our current manager on the last day of the transfer window a year ago, and here we are in exactly the same position again, aren't we? I don't know. Is there a danger that you keep the wrong man for too long? I guess that's there's being loyal, and then there's being. There could be argued the other way, couldn't it? That you've dithered almost, and I think some people wanted this change made after Bournemouth. Others want to give Frank a chance. I honestly don't know. Depends who they bring in, Glenn. You've got to give the manager, whether it be the current manager or the new manager, an opportunity to get out of it, and you can only do that by bringing in reinforcements. Everton don't have enough players in that building right now who score goals. And without getting people in who know how to score and create goals, they're going to struggle no matter who the manager is.
Yeah. So, Baz, let me ask you a question. So, if you said in the transfer show that you think the squad is currently underperforming.
Yeah.
So, if we got another say you got in your top 3 striking options this window, let's say, best case scenario, we bring in 3 attacking players you're happy with.
Yeah.
Would you prefer to have Frank and those 3 attacking options? Or would you change? I mean, this is to Ped as well, but I think I know what Ped will say. Would you prefer to have another manager and the new manager bounce with those attacking options?
I mean, it's a really difficult one. And the reason why I say it's a really difficult one is because the manager hasn't had any attacking options. So could he be better than what he is with better players? Probably. Is that enough? It depends who the alternate is, to be honest, Glenn. If you're saying to me it was a Pochettino or a Tuchel, then you'd make the change because quite clearly they are better managers than what Frank Lampard currently is. If you're telling me it's Sean Dyche, then no, I'd rather keep Frank Lampard. But ultimately it's results, mate, isn't it? There's no point me saying keep Frank Lampard and give him better players if he doesn't know how to get results. The reason why I say Everton are underperforming, I just mean the quality of player. I fully accept it, when Everton have a team that doesn't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin in, there's nothing up front to score goals. So I accept that other teams are better than Everton there. There's not good enough up there. Do I think the players behind the front three are better than some of the teams who are down where Everton are? Yes, in some respects they are. And that's where the underperforming comes from. But it doesn't matter whether Everton have got a good goalie, a good back 4 or 5, good midfield structure, whatever. If when it gets to the other end of the pitch, they haven't got a clue how to create or to score a goal. And I know that isn't quite a definitive answer for you, but the reality is, for the first time in a while, other than getting better players, and I don't know what the best answer is, because we've sacked managers in the past. And I've said this before, I don't know whether you agree and people listening agree, but I don't think there's been too much argument when Farhad Moshiri sacked a manager in the past. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he sacked someone and people have gone, what's he doing? Why is he sacking him? I think every time he's come to sack a manager has almost been the right decision. But then we've chosen the next one not correctly, haven't we? Which puts us back where we are. If we'd have thought about it sensibly after Carlo Ancelotti left, and we just finished with 59 points, and within that squad we still had some goals and creativity in that squad. If we'd have gone to, I know Graham Potter was a little bit reluctant, but if we'd have gone to Potter and said, you're the man we're investing in, and we're giving you some bit of money, I know there wasn't lots of money, but we're giving you some money, but look at the players you've got, make this better. Or if we'd have got, I don't know, a Gaultier or someone, and the crowd would have got behind it, who's to say Moise Keane would have been loaned out again?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who's to say I know James Rodriguez was costing us a lot of money, but we might have been able to make a change somewhere else. But who's to say that a different manager wouldn't have put Everton on a different path? And yet we went to Rafa Benitez, who everybody knew wasn't the correct choice, and then allowed him to dismantle stuff to the point where it's also damaged. But you can't ignore what else has gone on above it as well.
I mean, just to very quickly answer your question, Glenn, I'd rather have strikers than a new manager. I really would. Yeah. I don't see how another manager can get goals out of this team. I just don't. I think we need new players. But what I would say to the bigger picture is all those things. Even going back to what Pat said before about Anthony Robinson, it's because there's no line. There's no line of thinking. There's no thought process into anything that goes on. You have a man, you have a kid like Anthony Robinson, who, I remember when David Unsworth was the under-23s manager, and he raved about him. Where was the plan for him? What was the plan to make
there wasn't
him the kid who took over from Luca Dean? What you had you had a situation where you had Luca Dean's number one, and everyone going, Luca Dean's our number one. He'll be our number one left back for years and years and years. No, he wasn't. A year later, he was sold. And he was 29 when he was sold. So therefore, the long-term plan wasn't for him anyway. So why didn't Everton put something in place where Anthony Robinson could go somewhere and either went on loan to a really good club, like went on loan to Fulham for 2 years, or we had a buyback clause in his contract like other clubs do? Because we don't have people at the football club who think like that, because we have a guy over here, a guy over there, a guy over there. They keep on changing. What style do you want to play as a manager? I want to play this style. What style do you want to play? I want to play. It's like, get some consistency in the way, and that is basically no plan. So that means there's never been a plan. There's been a plan for now. Not, well, what happens if that plan fails? Rip it up and let's create another plan where other clubs have plans that supersede the guy, the director of football, the manager. They have a plan. And we don't have a plan, and that's why we are where we are now, because this guy has never had a plan. And I'll be honest, I'm absolutely fuming over that letter. I think it's absolute tone deaf.
You know what's happened? All he's done is he's cranked it up even worse now for Saturday.
But that's tone deaf.
If he'd have just shut up and not said a word,
that is absolutely tone deaf.
Should have really what he really should have done, really. And this is hard because we say we want to hear from them, and he's responded. So I imagine people will go, hang on, you've been saying they should say something, and he said something, you're still moaning. The problem is, the response is tone deaf.
Yeah.
So
I think he left it so long, the response had to be perfect. And if there had been lots of communications, it's just built up, and there had to be this amazing communication which no one is capable of writing. There's no spin doctor can get them out of this hole they've dug themselves. So I mean, you can't not communicate and then come out with something like that. I've just heard it, and obviously heard Ped's response.
But the thing about it is, you can't say, Glenn, that everyone's doing a great job when we're in the bottom 3. We're out of both cup competitions. We've won 1 game in 12. We're still losing money. It's proven because we haven't really got any money to spend. At what point is everyone doing a great job? Is it really well structured? At what? Do you know what I mean? It's easy going, everything's great. Where's the evidence?
Do you know what it reminds me of? Like, without getting political, but it reminds me of like Liz Truss coming out and going, "I'm doing a great job. I'm doing a great job." Oh, another way, the fact you've just tanked the economy. Yeah. I'm doing a great job, and it's like you're not doing a great job.
It's called marking your own homework. And they've been getting away with it for far too long. Anyway, guys, there is a bottleneck of people.
Okay.
There's
one, Glenn.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Glenn.
mate.
Great call, mate.
Thanks,
take care, mate.
Worries. Speak to you soon.
Go on.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Fair play. Good call.
Is there a bottleneck,
Glenn?
Go on, get them on then.
Let's
Just get
go.
them on.
Go
Come
on.
on.
Let's
Here's
go.
the phone in.
Let's do it.
I want to hear everyone's opinions.
Yeah, let's go. Who's next? Brian. Okay.
Go on, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Evening, lads.
Go on, mate.
Evening, mate.
I just got in, actually, just in time to hear you reading out the letter from the Great One. What he's achieved is one thing. He's just alienated the entire fan base.
Yeah.
And I just say he's poured petrol on the fire.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get an extremely vociferous and well-backed sit-in after the game on Saturday.
Yeah.
What I've noticed, all the comments you get, they all say the same thing. You yourselves have repeated over and again about the plan. And what is obvious is there isn't one. That statement itself says it, because if we, in our incompetence and our unknowing, can all be agreed that the board is useless, why can't he? As I said on the podcast last week, he's a businessman. He's a billionaire. He's not stupid. He's run lots of companies and made huge amounts of dosh, and good luck to him. Well done. But how could he allow anyone, a board with such incompetence, to run a company so badly?
I know.
I mean, as I said, give me his wallet. I couldn't have done it any worse. Let me do it.
I don't think those reindeers you eat would have done any worse, Bri.
No, I think the reindeers would have done it. Yeah.
I honestly believe he'd stuck 20 monkeys in a room and give them like a bullseye and a load of players. I honestly, and a load of managers, I still think we'd be in a better position. I honestly don't. We are clearly a social. I don't think we
are a
get
social
it any
experiment.
longer than he's done. So Andrew Tate thinks he's living in the bleeding Matrix. Bleeding hell. This is the Matrix.
Maybe Andrew Tate's an Evertonian.
We definitely took that blue pill, and honest to God,
something's happened.
Something's gone on here.
Something's gone on.
Right.
I'll tell you what they need. You know what they need?
Go on.
They need to stalk it.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Instead of having it on the front of the kit, they need to have
courage, bravery,
and
lots of phallic things running around the pitch.
That's it, mate. Massive penises.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need.
That's it.
That's what we have. That's what we got. But what we need is we've got to have some balls between them.
That's it.
Not to pass the one ball to
That's it. Well, Frank loves talking about bollocks. So
what he's done, he's innate.
Oh,
absolutely crazy.
Right.
I don't know if we can take this conversation any longer.
No, I don't think we can, mate.
No, I don't think we can.
I think we best leave it there, mate.
But one thing that does depress me is that people calling out for Graham Potter. They criticise Lampard and say, "We want Potter." Well, Potter plays exactly the same style as Lampard, and they're all moaning, "We don't want this sideways stuff. We don't want this slow build-up. We want." But Evertonians, we want a football the way we want it. And what do we want? What do we Evertonians want? How do we want our game? We want to see forward passes with pace on the ball, movement off the ball, creating space. And then if you've got a winger, give him the ball, let him take on his fullback, get the cross in, and here comes the header. You know what I mean? This is the Everton football with pace and verve and passion. We don't want this. I mean, we had enough with Martinez, didn't we? That was disgraceful. I mean, I remember watching I was over for the a Watford game and Martinez was in charge. And I tell you what, the centre halves, they were yawning. Saying, "Are you coming or what?"
They were yawning, Jesus Christ, mate. They were yawning.
It was painful to watch. And then, of course, you got the thing about a manager getting the best out of his players. You have to play a way which suits the players. That's your job as a manager. You can't say, "I want to play this way." If you've not got players, you can produce it. What you have to do, you have to find a method which suits the players, which can work. That's the manager's job. And what you do on the transfer window, you buy in the players you need to provide to build up the way that you want to play. Now, I like Frank Lampard, I really do. But I don't think he's the right man for the job just now. And I don't think his style of play suits Evertonians. So there we have the problem. But what confounds all this, of course, is that you do any better. What can you do? As Ped said earlier, I'd rather have strikers in than a new manager. Fully agree, 100%. There's no argument there. Because not even Brian Clough could get this team scoring. And it's just mirrors the way the club is run, which is the board, which goes back to this so-called communication letter to the supporters, which is nothing more than basically an insult, I think. Because how stupid does he think we are? He's blinded? Who's blinded him? He's blindfolded by someone he's been listening to, agents for deals and deals all through the years he's been there. But when it comes to the way the club is run, who's blinding him, saying, "Oh, everything's okay, it'll be all right"? Well, I'm sorry, it's not all right. Nor is it going to be all right. And there has to be huge changes. The direction of the club steers from the top downwards. And there's no other way to, well, any company is steered from the top. And that's what football is. It's business. And to be done properly, it's steered from the top. And that means what isn't working has to be ousted. You have to get rid of it. And I can't understand why he's given his wallet to these people for so many years. As I said, I couldn't have done any worse myself.
No, absolutely, mate.
Absolutely.
Oh, cheers, Bri. Thanks for your call, mate.
Grand over.
See you later.
Bri. No, good one. See you later, Bri. Ta-ra, mate.
Who have we got now, Ned?
Brian from
Steve Kelly.
Sweden. Oh, Steve Kelly next. Okay. Hello.
Hello, lads.
Hello, Steve. All right.
Yeah, I've been better.
Rant, Steve. Just rant. Go on.
Oh, mate, honestly, I've just been obviously speaking to you, Ped, and a few of the others. And I'm say that I'm not that surprised by his response because he's an absolute lunatic. Let's be honest. He mentions in the letter about his investment on our new stadium. Why doesn't he mention the investment on the absolute crap that he brought in at the club for the last 7 years? And why doesn't he? He's saying they're doing their best ability for the club. Well, they're obviously not because we lose hundreds of millions every season.
Maybe they are doing it to the best of their ability.
Well, that's terrifying if that's the best.
If that's the best,
That's the makes me think he's just an absolute lunatic. And to be honest with you, he's only added fuel to the fire, in my opinion.
Yeah, he has.
Saturday. And if you think people were angry half an hour ago, I'd probably say they're even angrier now.
Yeah.
And he goes on about the stadium, and we all know the stadium. It looks unbelievable, and it will be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it won't be worthwhile if you're in the Championship.
No.
It'll be absolutely pointless. Absolutely pointless. And we'll be sitting there with like a waiting list which is 20,000, which won't even have a waiting list because no one will end up going. Because that's how it's going.
Not for the prices they want to charge as well,
exactly
Steve.
The prices they want. The season ticket price is going up again, and I imagine they'll go up again when they move into the new stadium.
Of course.
I'm just flabbergasted by, like, he hasn't been in an Everton game since Watford last season. That was in October, wasn't it? October last season. He's not performing at the best of his ability. He's meant to be an accountant with the worst run football club in the Premier League.
Yeah.
We've got the highest board wage in the Premier League who do absolutely nothing. We've got Graham Sharp, who's an Everton legend, but what does he do? We've got Grant Ingles, don't even know what he does.
He's an accountant.
He's an accountant. I know, mate, but...
That's what I'm saying, he's an accountant for the accountant.
So we've got 2 chartered accountants at the club who are crap, basically. And we lose hundreds of millions every year, and we buy crap every year, and we... Sadly, I like Frank Lampard, but we hire wrong managers every year. And people are just fed up now. Like, I've seen the response to the forum. Obviously, as you know, I'm part of the forum, and I'm disgusted by his response. I'm disgusted by it. And I think every Evertonian, and not to sound like telling people what to do, but if you're a proper Evertonian, you'll stay on Saturday. Yeah. In my opinion.
Well, if you want change, if you want things to improve, no. Let's not fall into our own letter here, Steve. If you want things to change at Everton, and you really want that, you'll give 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes at the end of the game. Unless, listen, people might have to go to work, people might have pride in games. I understand that. Yeah. But if people have got 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of their time after the game, just to show the strength of feeling, because far too many times...
And not everyone's together.
Exactly. This is... I said this last week early on this week in a space. This is now us versus them. This is now Everton fans versus people who clearly don't want the best for our football club or can't see what...
Are you shocked that?
That's it. No, I am absolutely
I'm talking
stunned.
To Steve, right? I can't believe that they've put that letter out, Steve, which has almost... It's failure to read the room again massively, right? And it almost...
He's got 2 fingers up, in my opinion.
That's what I was going to say. It's almost like it is us feed, and I don't want it to feel like that, because it should never feel like that about your football club. But what it's done is, I think it's going to have pissed a lot of people off there and removed hope for a lot of people. If you see someone where... Again, we can't speak for every Evertonian. Of course we can't. And there'll be people maybe in the chat here who don't agree with what we're saying. I wish people in the chat would let me know whether they agree or they disagree.
Do a poll.
Right? Yeah, Ned, get a poll out there.
Do a Twitter poll. Do a
YouTube poll now.
Do a Premier poll, please.
But to me, that is crazy that you would turn round when the feeling is so... obviously evidence at the moment that people aren't happy, and you would say, I'm happy with the board, and I'm happy with this, and I'm happy with that. But I mean, what do you feel like, Steve?
Yeah, I totally agree, mate, and I see his responses as well, that it seems like everything's rosy at the club. We're 3rd from bottom in the Premier League. With, like,
out of both cups.
When are the club going to wake up and realise that the club is going one way? It's one, and sadly it is. And you know what? Like I you say all the time, Ped and Baz, and I know I've said it to both of you. It's like you've got young kids who want to support football teams in the city, and all you see is red round the city now. Sadly, and all you're starting to see now is your Man City fans in the city now. That's where you are. Like it used to be 20 years ago. You couldn't walk around Liverpool in anything Manchester. Now it's acceptable because there's only really one team decent in Liverpool at the moment, sadly, again. But from my point of view, like on Saturday, it was all about supporting the team. But I think they've even damaged a bit of that, in my opinion, for Saturday now. I think it was all about getting behind the team, and we 100% when the game's on. But before the game, there'll be a lot of anger around there, and I do worry about Saturday now.
Steve, do you think that letter has almost done the NS Now's job for them in terms of garnering even more support for Saturday, because my head's spinning a little bit here. I'm not going to lie.
Honestly.
I'm not going to lie, mate. I can't believe. I just don't see a situation where I would turn around and go, if everybody's undoubtedly unhappy, I would turn around and go, I think it's all going really well. Yeah. I just, that's, do you think it has almost done their job for them?
100%, mate, 100%. And those lads now, if I was them, I would be drumming that out to everyone now, in my opinion. Because, like you said, Baz, it's free advertising for them. He's give them free advertising, in my opinion.
It's crazy.
Because I just think now originally, I don't think the fans were, if I'm honest, Baz, that it was fully on Moshiri. I don't know if you thought the same.
Yeah, no.
I think it was more towards all other board members.
Yeah.
But I think he's thrown himself into the hat now as being even worse than than a lot of people had him.
No, go on, Steve. Sorry.
I think a lot of people thought Bill Kenwright, Denise, others who aren't doing anything. But now, because obviously he always had the stadium to fall back on, but I think even people are just like, this bloke is an absolute lunatic and he's doing nothing for the club.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It just seems a bit mad to me, that. JT 1998 AFC says, let's not forget Moshiri and Usmanov contributed to the destruction of Arsenal all those years ago. Now he's gone. Arsenal are back to their best. Get him out of our club. It's sad, isn't it? It really is. I mean, just looking at
one thing.
Yeah, go on.
Someone drafted that. Like, literally, somebody sat down and drafted that letter. Whether it be David Prentice, Denise Barrett-Baxendale, I don't know. Someone sat down and thought that was a good idea. Someone genuinely sat down and thought, this will appease the fans. Did no one sit there and go, mate, if you put this out, there will be absolute murder? Because that's just, that letter, it's just a slap in the face. It doesn't deal with any of the situation. If you read that, what it basically says is...
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Yeah. That's all it says. It's unbelievable. I can't believe... Oh, my God.
And it's like, if you think about it, like, and from his point of view as well, I think it just proves to a lot more fans that the club is a mess, mate, behind the scenes. Because, like Ped just said then, how have they allowed that letter to be released? It's just mad.
Honest to God, mate, you know that I always try to be glass half full.
And I respect that.
And I try to look at the bigger picture and go, all right, well, what about this? Even sometimes I go against myself because I try to look at the bigger thing always, right? I honestly don't know what to... I actually feel... probably sounds stupid, this, and probably just need some sugar or something, but I actually feel a little bit upset by that. No, like upset by it, because that to me is a bit... Not like upset, angry. Just like that's almost saying to me, we're not going to do anything about this, so just get on with it. Basically, we take your money. We've got no desire to do well. We've got no, burn and ambition to make this club better. So just get on with it, basically. And that sucked the wind out of my sails a little bit today. That's just made me go, what's the point then, really? Yeah, what is the point?
And the thing is, at the end of the day, he doesn't care. He's waiting for the stadium so he can sell it.
Of course he is. He's on his yacht, mate.
He doesn't care. He's proved that by not coming to the game for the last year and a half. At the end of the day, we have to go week in, week out. You have to do this every day as your job. And it's draining people. It's absolutely draining people's lives. And to be honest with you, it'll end up getting to the point, and like I said this before, I hope it doesn't, but it'll end up getting nasty, and it always does with stuff like this.
Always.
You've seen it with the Cronkies at Arsenal. The minute they peed Arsenal fans off and they took matters into their own hands, and then they actually realised, crap, we need to start communicating with these fans properly. And we've actually done the right thing and started doing that and getting the fans involved in more things and talking to the fans and doing the documentaries, etc. But we do nothing. We've not even heard of Kevin Fowler. This whole window. We haven't heard of the bloke, I don't think, since he started his job.
Do you know what annoys me as well?
We haven't heard of the chairman for nearly 2 years since he'd done the stadium interview on Sky Sports News or wherever it was, talking absolute rubbish as well, talking about, oh, it's this, that. We don't care. I'd rather you just get off and not even come back to Goodison again, because at the end of the day, you can't even stay a full game.
And there's things like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to do interviews. Wait, hang on, employees.
Yeah.
Employees. So, mate, you'll do an interview. You know,
at the end of the day, mate, if you do your job, keep doing your job crap year after year, you end up getting sacked in any other industry.
not football, mate. Football.
Yeah, but Everton Football Club.
Well, not even. To be honest, a lot of football rewards failure. Managers get sacked and then just get the next job for.
This is what I've always said about. I'm sorry to go on as well.
Go on.
But I've always said this: players get released if they're not good enough. Managers get sacked if they're not good enough. But chairmen and owners and board members keep getting rewarded by getting paid thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds every week, while we get rewarded with crap. That's it.
I like I said, that's. That's just.
Yeah, I'm just going to put my head in the oven anyway.
Yeah, it's just me. It is just me.
Oh, look at you being able to afford to put the oven on, you cheeky get.
No, he's not putting it on. He's just putting.
I can't get my head in the air fryer.
Don't ever dish the air fryer, Steve. It's a safety feature, so you can't get your head put in it. That's what's so brilliant about air fryers.
Anyway, I'll let someone.
All right, nice one, Steve. Good call, mate. Take care. Ta-ra, mate. See you tomorrow.
Brian, we weren't rolling our eyes at what you were saying, mate. You were doubling up. It sounded like you were Superman's dad. No one he's talking to him in the Fortress of Solitude. It was doubling up. So
listen back, Brian.
It was making us
everything you said again.
Yeah.
1 second later, listen back, and that's why we were going.
We were like that.
You
kept on talking twice to us.
The Blues says actions speak louder than words, and the actions are refusing to extend Pickford's contract and bringing Sims back and not signing anyone. Tells me they've accepted we are going down. Questioner also spot on. Michael Lowe says that letter is a slap in the face. I'm not having 9%. Maybe they are. 9% of people are happy with that letter. And we've had 188 votes, so there you go. Maybe if you are watching and there's like 1,000 watching, do the vote. It takes 1 second. Let us know whether you're happy with that letter.
You know the worst thing about all this is you're gonna have to redo the beginning of the news.
Matthew Bush says, I've said a couple of times, boys, that's really my voice, and as a supporter we've been ignored for as long as I can remember. Keep it up, Toffee TV. Mr. Dorf says, I agree with Baz and Ped. I just feel like it's completely over for us. He's so clueless, it's unbelievable. It's sad.
Coming on?
He can't be on tomorrow. He's on the M6.
Okay. Well, he's got a phone.
No.
We've got on there Bunsey. We've got Bunsey on. Bunsey, you there, mate? Bunsey, you alright, mate?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, mate. Go on.
Yeah. Oh, nice one. I don't know who wrote that letter. I mean, it just treats us like idiots, you know.
It's sad, isn't it?
Moshiri's obviously not interested in footy at all. Like, you know, it's obviously a business thing for him. But I mean, surely it make more sense to sack your board members and try and find ones that are going to sort of progress your business than keep on sacking managers on the very early sort. I mean, I don't know how long Frank Lampard's contract is. You're going to have to pay him up like they paid every other fella up, you know.
Yeah, and the next season.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right, well, not going to get that far anyway.
No, of course it's not.
You know, but the way they keep flip-flopping, like they want the Hollywood managers, and then they bin them off, and then they bring people like Big Sam and talk about Sean Dyche coming in, and it's like, you've got to make your mind up what you're trying to do. It's a sad time. I mean, I'm 60 in a couple of weeks.
You're not 60.
I am.
No, I'm not having that.
But I remember I had a season ticket for the upper class seat. My feet wouldn't touch the floor. It was in the late 60s, so I've seen Alan Ball and all that up there when he was sitting on the ball in the corner flag. We all wanted his white boots and all this, that, and the other, like, you know. And seeing, like, a couple of years before that, Pele being there playing the World Cup, they go on about how big that mob are over the park there. But, you know, we've had Eusebio, Pele, all kinds of players like this play at our stadium and that, you know. It's just a sad time for the club. It really is a sad time, you know. It's a typical thing with these seniors now, and you see with all these politicians and that. Do you love blowing smoke up their asses and patting themselves on the back and tell you how aligned they are with this and how they've done that and how things are great? When it's not, you see now. I mean, we're like a third world country now. I was speaking to a fella from Lithuania in a hotel up in Scotland a couple of months ago, and he said when he wants healthcare, he goes home.
Yeah.
He said I couldn't get it here, and I'm like, we are like a third world.
No, we are. We just don't realise we are, mate.
You know,
We just don't realise we are.
Yeah, so I don't know what the answer is. I watched the kids play last night, and even with them, the amount of balls we were giving away, the first touches were like they were losing the ball and that, like. And I thought, I just don't know where we're going. It's sad times. You know, I was there with like Bayern Munich. I've seen some fantastic football at that stadium, better than anything else that anyone could ever serve up. Like, you know, and to look at them now, it's an awful time. You know, so,
it's terrible, isn't it?
Sad times.
Yeah, it is
terrible, mate.
It is.
All right.
Cheers,
All
mate.
right,
Thank
Bungie,
you.
nice one,
See you
mate.
later.
All right.
See you
Take
later.
care, mate. Ta-ra, pal. And I believe we've got Paul next, did you say, Ned? Yeah. Paul, are you there? Hello, Paul? Paul? No.
No one there, Ned.
Hello, Paul?
But Ned, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Can't
Paul,
hear you.
we can't hear you,
Can't hear you,
Paul.
Paul.
Text, message him, tell him.
Can't hear you. Well, he should be to hear us.
Jack Horrocks on the super chat. Thank you, Jack. Says, bring Big Sam in on a short-term deal. Again, he might bring us, might take us down this time to make sure. Because he's still pissed off at us. Snake
It's on the payroll, isn't he?
He can't be now. Practice hours says Forest will stay up and we'll go down. No, they won't. Forest won't stay up. I'm not saying Everton definitely won't go down, but Forest won't stay up, I don't think. But then why should we be bothered if nobody else is it? I mean, we should, and we will be, of course we will, but yeah, grim, innit? Absolutely grim. Absolutely grim.
Anyone else lined up, Ned?
Abigail says, I don't know if I can be bothered supporting Everton with this shit show overboard in charge. It's saddened me our club has fallen so far. Even Torquay and Plymouth are better than us. Well, Plymouth have a plan. I'm not sure about Torquay. I just know that Plymouth have a plan.
Torquay are pretty poor. Just go and support Wrexham.
Wrexham's the one, isn't it?
I mean?
Bit of Hollywood, bit of excitement.
I mean, they've literally got Hollywood.
Yeah, they have. And they're good. Oh my God, it's sad, isn't it? It is sad. Corin says, hello, Ped and Baz. Is this really happening or is it a bad dream? You know what, Corin? Never in a million years when we got taken over by Moshiri did we think it would go this way. Never.
No.
Never in a million years.
No.
And it's just so sad, really. Oh,
Right, there's
hello?
someone there. Who is it? Oh, he just left. Oh, your mic came on and you left.
the Piv,
That the Piv?
and he's gone.
Oh, I don't think that was I think the Piv. What are you doing, the Piv?
That wasn't the Piv. Not
Seen
that
his face.
wasn't the Piv. Cy Parker says, but always we have striven to achieve success. What are these on about? 28 years of mediocrity. Keep up the good work, great fellas. Yeah, cheers, mate. Okay, I'm just looking to see if anything else.
Andy said no, loads of question marks.
So it wasn't the Piv, was
So
it?
it was the fella from Game of Thrones.
So he's just ran, yeah. Wasn't it Samuel thingy?
Oh,
Well, it's not just making things up.
Ned's just making things
We
up.
know we can't trust you. Your lookalikes are atrocious anyway. Probably a fella with blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else, Ned?
Paul just having another go. Mark Dunn says it tells me they're ready for the championship. JTE320 says feel like it's really setting in that this club is dying. Yeah, Liam says Moshiri is the worst thing that's ever happened to us. Should be calling for his head too. Well, I think he's probably just done that.
The problem is though, and I do echo you. There's nothing you've said there's wrong. the problem is he owns the football club, and like we said at dinner time, he could easily own the football club and go, right, lads, I'm going to sit over there. I'm going to put the best people in charge, and you just get on with it. Like Joe Lewis does at Tottenham. Yeah, mate, you go. I'll sit in my boat in the Caribbean, and that is the best people to come on this football club
and make it better.
He's got the power to do that. But
clearly, he
but
doesn't want to, mate. Clearly,
I reckon he's on the phone now. Moshiri going, what have you just put that letter out with my name on it? Yeah. Who have you got?
His name's...
You're really good at this, aren't you, Ned?
Yeah, he's superb at it.
Really, really good at this. His name's what? His name's Pov. Well, then kick him out then and get someone else on. Get some authority, Ned.
He's like Jackie Weaver. Got no authority. That's all. Oh my God, yeah. He's not even going to be here though at the weekend, is he? So he can say whatever he wants. Can't he, really?
He's literally just run into a lift, farted and then run out.
He's gone full. He's gone full. Enjoy the ball, hasn't he? As if Brian, I've just seen Brian here, says Moshiri says enjoy the letter, Frank says enjoy the ball, Bill says enjoy the ball.
I can hear someone on the end of the line. Okay, let's have him then.
Okay, we got someone, have we?
Go on then, put him on then. Well, where is he? There's no one in my ears.
Can you hear me, lad?
Go on, Paul. Go on, mate.
All right, boys. You
go on.
All right, well.
All right, go on, mate.
Technical issue.
Go ahead, mate. No problem.
Sorry, boys. I've been in work, so I haven't even seen the Moshiri letter, so I haven't got a clue. I've just heard, obviously, the last couple of calls, so I haven't even seen it. So I take it it's not very good.
Basically, he said he's happy with everything. The board are doing a good job and everything. Oh, so wow. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Wow. Well.
Yeah.
The fact that we've raised over $5,000 to try and get our banners and everything else going.
Yeah, exactly.
That says it all for me. Do you know what I mean? And no, I can't stand it anymore. I can't. It's just no, I've had enough.
We can't stand by anymore, can we, Paul? That's how many people are feeling now. It's like enough is enough now. We've given it a chance. We've kind of just let it play out, and it feels like all the people we're speaking to, the fans we're talking to on here, the fans we're talking to via comments, feel like there's a real mood change now. Is that how you feel?
100%, mate. It's everyone I speak to now, whether it's on WhatsApp, in work, whatever, it's literally all on the same page now, where it's just a disgrace. I think yesterday I watched a little bit on the transfer show on Sky Sports News, and I know some of that you can just ignore because they chat a load of shite most of the time, people. But some of it's kind of like, basically Everton haven't got any money. Again, financial fair play comes in, which we all know about. But literally, where it looks like again we're scraping, like bouncing from player to player, if he's possibly available. There's no sort of like work done beforehand again, and it's just kind of like trying to scrape together a couple of quid to maybe bring someone in. No option to buy at the end of it and things like that, just to protect ourselves, because we know this time it's a reality that we could drop. And you know what? I think weirdly between us, and it's not defeatist, but certainly the lads I speak to and go to Matthew now, it's kind of like, well, look, if we do drop, and I think everyone's now turning to when we drop. You know what I mean? And I know we're going to try and keep them up as best we can, do our part again, which is it's shattering as well. But I think it's kind of like a few of the lads like today in work, and we had a little chat after a couple of meetings, and they were saying, well, if we do go down, we might force the board out and this, that and the other. And it's kind of like we're looking at, like, if we do go down, what's going to happen now? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a formality that we are going to drop.
That's terrible, isn't it?
And I've got to be honest, mate, I was on the same page as them. I was thinking, well, could end up like Portsmouth with like a bit of a like fan-led sort of like purchase or whatever and things like that. And I'm sort of like casting my eyes to the other side of things now in terms of, well, yeah, what would it look like if we went down? We'd end up with like, I don't know, Barry Bannon in the midfield.
Harry Arthur
We've said
can't
it,
get a
we've
game
got
for
all
Forest.
kinds of boss ideas for next season. Honestly, we're gonna have a show about the best top knot. We're gonna have neck and sleeve tattoo reviews shows.
Yeah. These are all championship
Honestly,
standards.
these are championship standards. Honestly, we're gonna have we're gonna have
guide to all the grounds.
best wooden stand.
Yeah.
We win.
Best burger van.
We win.
We've won it
Best
already.
burger van outside the ground.
Yeah.
How far would it take to get legged from the train station to the ground?
At Middlesbrough.
Well, honestly, we've got all these plans in place for next season. You've got to be proactive, haven't you? We are doing something the club don't. We're getting ahead of the game.
Best place to get searched.
I do think the best neck tattoo is going to be a hell of a show. That's going to be a hell of a show. That
is the one.
You've
already got Dave Fitzy. We're getting on the EFL podcast.
Oh, the EFL podcast. There's going to be synergy.
It is
synergy between us and we've got all these plans already in place. It's going to be.
I hope they're all out the window because we stay up. But you know, you've got to plan ahead, haven't you?
You've got to get ready, haven't you?
Something that Everton don't seem to do.
Well, at least we're exactly, Baz. At least we're planning for it.
Yeah.
And probably the best time to join your community, I think.
Oh, mate, God.
There's also that one. I like the one. No, you see like who does the cheese and chips. No, you see it on Twitter, and they just put a slice of cheese on some. Best cheese and chips in the championship.
Absolutely.
It's got a nice ring to it, that, hasn't it?
It has. Everton will lose that as well, obviously.
Course,
but, there you go.
Yeah, of course.
But it's sad, though, isn't it?
That's terrible, mate.
Do you know what I mean? We're talking about, and that's genuine, that.
Yeah.
We drop from, the third division, Barry Bannon, whoever drops out of the championship is the...
Stop saying Barry Bannon.
No, sorry, I'm dissing Barry Bannon.
Barry Bannon moonwalks into our team, shut up. No, it's sad. No, honest to God, all joking aside, it's ridiculous, mate. It's absolutely ridiculous. We've got the 8th highest wage bill in the Premier League.
Oh, Jesus.
And we've got a team that is 3rd from bottom and has won one game in 12.
It's petrifying. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I've only just joined properly in terms of, your sort of, Patreon community and that. I missed the little shows that you have with John and that. So the ramifications
there'll be one tomorrow
on our sort of just complete catastrophe, isn't it? I suppose. No. I'm not a financial guy. I don't know.
No, I'm not either, mate. I just let John explain that.
It's going to be a disaster, innit? I'm more worried about the ground, but I suppose in that letter he covered a bit of the ground, didn't he, and stuff like that. Or
there's the ground, though. We've got 1 year, mate. Basically, if Everton go down, they've got 1 year to fix it. FFP obviously is not a thing because you're not in the Premier League anymore. So you've got 1 year to get it right. If you with the parachute payments, really where it is, but obviously you're doing 1 year where Everton would still have to get rid of the likes of Jordan Pickford and Amadou Onana. Then Onana's not playing the Championship, is he? Let's be honest. So he'd have to go and people like that. So you'd have to reshape it, and then you've got to really hit the ground running. It can be done. Look at Burnley. Burnley even went to Bournemouth and bounced them all over the park at the weekend in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
If you get it right and you get the right man, it can be done. The problem is when you get back up, you're playing that first season again with a mix, aren't you? You're trying to stay up for that first season, and that will be obviously the first season in the new stadium. So it's one of them with that. You'd have to get that recruitment right, but you've got to put all these things in place.
Yeah.
So going down isn't. I get what you're saying, and it's a bit of a reset, but it's a very, very how can I put it? It's a huge gamble, if you know what I mean. It's much better to stay up and build what you've got, obviously, and I think we all accept that. But there's someone at the club needs to wake up, mate.
But would it see them out though? I don't want to.
Yeah, of course.
I'm horrified every day. It's doing me head in. But would it see the end of these?
Absolutely. Can they survive, mate?
They'd have to, wouldn't it? But
they will be bounced all over the place. They would be. Yeah. There's not a chance they would be allowed anywhere near. It's not, mate, honestly.
No, I agree.
There's not.
I agree.
This letter's just...
But the thing about it is, though, and I don't know why you agree with me, Paul, but to me, that letter is the signal that whatever you've just said about not letting them in, Saturday, I wouldn't let those people anywhere near the ground.
No.
I wouldn't.
But what?
No, but what I mean is though, it's like we're doing that thing again. We were waiting for the worst thing to happen in the world. This should be the sign that the worst thing in the world.
I think, regardless of, I'm not advocating not letting people into the ground, whatever.
But what I mean is,
no, but they will know. I think at full time, regardless of whether Everton win, lose, or draw Saturday.
Well,
that letter to me is basically saying we've got no ambition whatsoever.
Exactly.
And it's now whether people are okay with that or they're not. And that'll be it on Saturday. You're either okay with no ambition or you want change. A lot of people want a better Everton. That's the message, however that looks. That Saturday we'll know, won't we, at 10-5 on Saturday when the game's finished. Like you say, regardless of win, lose or draw, how many people want to stay.
Yeah.
And it can be, listen, no one's saying, this, be angry, do whatever, but just staying in your seat is a sign of you just doing your bit. You don't have to shout and scream or whatever. That's what it comes down to. You should be, and I'm sure the club will respectfully accept a protest if it is done in that way. And if you just sit there in your seat and they get a lot of people doing that will make headlines. It will. People aren't happy.
Martinez, mate, it was all right. Do you know what I mean? In the upper Bullens that day, and that day, and the stewards were sound. There's only me and a couple others on that side. There was no problem.
Yeah, no, but listen, it's organised. They know what's coming, and people should be allowed to express their disapproval at what's going on. Because after all, long after Moshiri and Barabaks and then Kenwright and all the others have gone, and all of these players, we'll still be there, won't we? Spending money and all that. So it's our football club, and that's the way it is. And you should, I believe, if you are able to affect it, you should always be trying to be the number one, always. And I don't believe, and that letter to me is an example that Everton aren't really that bothered about trying to be number one. They probably think it's too difficult to become number one instead of looking for other ways how you can improve. That's how it feels anyway. That's how it feels.
Yeah, but I'll end on this. Well, you remember Moshiri saying, he got into the thinking of writing results off. Sort of manual.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Games like that, you remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Who says stuff like that? You know what I mean? It's like the knife to a gunfight at Moyes. We've always been the under. Nah, this is Everton football.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you know what I mean? We've all been all over the country watching this club. And forget the money side of it. We choose to do that. I'll do that till the day I die. I'm not bothered. And my kids will and all that. I'll drag them in and put them through a lifetime of grief. But no, this is Everton. I don't want to hear me manager or me chairman saying, we have to go. No. Sorry, nearly swore there. No, I'm not having that.
It's a game, mate, isn't it? It's a game. You turn up to have a game of... Have you ever played a game of footy where you've gone, we haven't got a hope? I have never, no matter where I was playing, who I was up against, I never went on a pitch thinking, got zero chance today, none whatsoever. Because you'd always go, if these might be better than us, but things might go our way today. You don't go, I don't mind if we lose 4-0 today. And yet you find yourself saying that now. I found myself saying the other week at City, as long as it's not 4 or 5-0, we might keep the confidence. It's embarrassing to say that. It's embarrassing to say it. It's a game of football. But Newcastle's, and I know Newcastle, sorry to quote Newcastle, but they're just the latest who were trying to do well. But would their owners turn around and go, listen, we don't mind if you lose 3 or 4-0 today because it's Man City? No, they just go and have a go.
No, but I think there's a difference between it.
Understand where you are,
but it getting out publicly.
Yeah.
It got out publicly, therefore someone was briefed on it.
Yeah. True,
and it came from Marco Silva, didn't it? We lost a game in the Carabao Cup, and basically it got out that it was fine.
Yeah, but Moshiri also said it to Jim White.
Yeah. That's where it started.
It's an acceptable defeat, it was called, wasn't it? Paul's just reminded me. An acceptable defeat.
Unreal. That's unreal. That's unacceptable. I mean, we should have all done that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Not having that. But I mean, I'll finish on this point. You look at teams like Brentford, wipe the floor with Liverpool.
Yeah.
They matched them. You know what I mean? Like,
Brentford, yeah.
As you say, Baz, it's just a game. You can do it.
Exactly.
But if you're scared and sort of the message is wrong, when are we ever going to get ahead? And this is the season now where we're thinking we've got to go to these big, we've got a tricky run coming up. And where's the confidence? Do you know what I mean? We've ever got.
If the message is it doesn't matter if as long as you only get beat by 1 or something, then that's what are you saying to your players? I mean, we heard this. Sorry, we've heard this with Rafa Benitez last season, and when it changed to Frank Lampard, the players saying, well, basically Benitez told us we weren't capable of playing football, so we were just kicking the ball away, and that's where you got the enjoy the ball and all that. But that's what I mean with them kind of players, is that like if you tell them they're not good enough to do this, they very quickly believe they're not good enough to do that. So where I imagine Thomas Frank or someone like that at Brentford is like, you can beat these if you battle and scrap. Now it won't always work. They got done 5-0 by Newcastle earlier in the season.
Yeah.
You know, and the game where they gave 4 goals
but
away
they're
to Newcastle, but they're still up there. But I imagine he goes to every game going, it's a game of football, go out and give everything, and you never know what happens. They won at City the other week.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, now they...
I mean, look, listen, lads, we're all in this together.
We are, mate.
Bringing us together in it, and love the shows and keep up the good work.
Thanks,
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Thanks
Paul.
very much for your call, mate.
Thanks,
Take
mate.
care.
See you later.
Ta-ra,
Ta-ra,
pal.
mate.
Ta-ra. Ta-ra.
Oh, God.
It has, like...
I feel exhausted.
I think it's just the realisation. That's it, me, and it's... Jamie says, so he's backing the board, the Doff and the manager. Let's see if that's the case in a few more games following the impending protests.
We've got
protests.
We've got a vote on Twitter at the moment. It's at 1,700 already in 30 minutes. 94% say they are not happy with Farhad Moshiri's letter to the fans. Over on YouTube, it is 89% say they're not happy with it.
Okay, we've had a super chat from Amanda Stevens. Thank you very much, Amanda. She says, what is happening with Pickford's contract, and is Moshiri blind after sending out that letter? Well, Pickford's contract was apparently all progressing well, and then it's got out now. I don't know whether it's accurate or it's true, but if you believe in the stories around that, now Everton have taken that contract offer off the table. According to reports, I don't know whether that's true or not. To be honest, I haven't chased that up. But that's one of the stories that are going around, that all contract offers are off the table at the moment. So Obi and Gordon. So read into that what you will, Amanda. Moshiri, I just think, has massively misjudged the room. Massively.
All right, let me just say this right now. I think tonight, genuinely, and I'm not speaking for other people, but I think we need statements from the Shareholders Association, the FAB, the Fans Forum, the 1878 group. I think they need to put statements out tonight, personally. If they feel that this letter's there and they feel like it's completely wrong, they should all be signing the letter that we signed last week, and they should all be putting in a vote of no confidence on this board and the owner. Regardless of what it means, regardless of what power it has, those groups are supposed to be different groups that have, you know, certainly 2 of them that got voted in, the FAB and I know the FAB have got a meeting tonight, and that'll be an interesting meeting. I know John Blaine's there to find out all the details for us. But the Fans Forum, as far as I'm concerned, you are the Fans Forum. You should be standing up today and putting a letter in, or signing the letter that we signed last week, as far as I'm concerned, or putting statements out. And the same with everyone who's got the ability to do something. And that letter is a disgrace. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Hang on, Mike Cosgrove. Hello, Mike, on the super chat. Okay. Says best fans in the world.
Ned, do me a favour. Yeah. Send. Can you send me the link, please, for the
and
show?
Mike also on a super. Why them 2 super chats, Mike? Says never been so happy to be on the waiting list. This club is soulless and pointless. The only thing this club has is us. Thanks, Mike, on the super chat. Have you got someone else?
We have got someone else on.
Got the Mighty Blues #1 fan.
Okay.
There's on the super chat as well. Thank you. Says that letter from Moshiri is absolutely pointless, and he has the cheek to say everything is fine. He can't run a football club, and he needs to go. Thanks for the super chat. A lot of people are not happy. Jane Horrick, I've done that one on me on the super chat. A lot of people not happy with what's going on.
Right, we're going to get right.
Who's on?
We're we're getting the ESCOM from NS now.
Go ahead.
So, because I asked for someone to come on from NS now.
Yeah.
And Paul has responded. So
okay, so let us know when he's on. I'll put my headphones back on. Yeah, it has knocked, like I said before, it's absolutely knocked the wind out of my sails. That, because I'd rather them just not have said anything.
Oh, it's just a terrible letter. It's just terrible.
Even if it said something like, look, we're looking at everything all the time, we're assessing or something, then that's, you kind of go, yeah, okay, that at least gives you some hope that they would be assessing what's going on. To say they're happy with everything is, when we're where we are, it's absolutely terrifying, isn't it? Scary, that to me. That's scary, that. Yeah. I feel a bit sick now.
I just can't understand how bad it is.
I do feel
You got him, Ned?
I'm a bit upset here. I feel like that, you know, the one on Twitter with the blonde kid crying says, just feel like I want Henderson back or whatever. You know the one I mean?
Who do you want back?
Feel pure crap. I just want McGeady back. Or Coney. Aruna Coney will do. Where's Nias when you need him?
Was that Man City last week?
He got us some big goals when we needed them. Get him back. Get Umar back. Pay as you play. No, that's never that bad.
Ned, I'll be on. You weren't here for Mike Walker. You don't understand how bad.
No, Ned.
You don't understand how bad the Mike Walker. But at least in the hindsight, we know that what happened after Mike Walker was glorious.
It was glorious.
Glorious.
Gary Ward said, "Excuse me, I just got Disney Plus just in case I got the bundle package that includes Hulu and ESPN Plus. ESPN has the streaming rights for the championship." Gary's thinking ahead. At least Gary's got a plan. You know what I mean? The hell. Andrew Hughes says, so does that mean if he's happy if we get beat on Saturday, nothing gonna happen with Lampard, the championship, here we come? Paul Gold says, feel sorry for the ones doing the public meetings. Now, well, you know what, in some respects it's better because the fab that are meeting tonight at 7 o'clock are gonna get how people are really feeling, aren't they? They're gonna get how people are really feeling. And people feel, well, I don't know what people, I feel like that's almost an admission that they don't have any ambition.
You got him?
Hello,
Paul, can you hear me?
Is he there?
Yeah, go on, you are on live with us now. Tell us your thoughts as a NS now representative on the letter from Fard Moshiri tonight.
This is the most unified I've ever seen the Everton fan base. So we were expecting a response. I just think he's totally, well, whether he's done this himself or whether he's been advised, I suspect he's been advised. I just think he's totally misread the room.
Absolutely.
And this is not a time for him to be laying claim as to what his achievements are or what the achievements of the club have been in the last few years. This is a time for him to be in listening mode. In the first instance, to listen to what the majority, at least, of fans on social media are saying, the concerns that they have, and the idea that I think most Evertonians now want to see action. The idea that things can continue as they are, either in terms of him being the owner or in terms of the current board and the current executive remaining in place. I think almost all Evertonians now recognise that can't happen. And yet here we have a letter that's supposed to have been written by him. Let's assume that it is for a second, where he claims he has confidence at all levels within the club. Yeah. Well, anybody that lives and breathes Everton Football Club, like most Evertonians do, will just not recognise that confidence at all. So we have a situation here where either his judgment has to be called into question yet again, or whereby he is completely out of touch with what's going on at the club and what's going on in terms of how the fan base view it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, Paul, this has hit us for six, honestly. Genuinely,
I don't think it should do. I think we should all take a great deal of confidence from this in terms of what the fan base are doing and what the fan base is saying. I've had messages from journalists saying all he's done is validated your concerns.
Yeah. No, there is that way of looking at it, and I totally agree. You take a step back, it does strengthen the position, certainly, of the sit-in and everything that's going to happen on Saturday, and I do think, but it's just when you're just sitting here listening to it and reading the statements, it just you can't. You're sitting here thinking these people control our football club. These people are the ones who have all the power. I mean, obviously, it's up to the fans now to show what we're all about on Saturday. But I just think to myself, I don't even know why you've put a statement out. I really don't. If it's because it is criminally bad. It's criminally badly written, by the way. Like, it's just generally a bad statement.
Well, we know what we're dealing with now, and we almost on a daily basis we get to understand more why the club is in the position that it's in. And every time they react, or in the case of the open letters that the NS Now campaign sent but weren't replied to, is just more and more evidence and that the owner to make any of the changes that are necessary to get the decline of the club turned around and to get us moving in the right direction. If this is an example of good thinking and good practice and of, one might say, business intelligence, then it's clearly actually the complete opposite. And it just confirms to me that we have, as a fan base, he even used the word custodians. We're the custodians of this football club by virtue of the actions that we're currently taking, by virtue of the fact that there are people spending 12, 14, 16 hours a day working on getting the club to recognise, and getting the owner particularly to recognise, the problems that the club has. And it just demonstrates how far away from reality Farhad Moshiri is in terms of the condition of the club and in terms of, most importantly, the views of the fan base. And if anything, he's just added fuel to the fire. We all want a peaceful demonstration, obviously noisy, and to get the message over, but we want it to be peaceful in the sense of there being no issues, no trouble or anything else. And speaking to the club today, they're very happy for the demonstration to go ahead. They're very happy for everybody, or for whoever wants to take banners, to take banners. The stewards are going to be instructed not to remove banners. So in that sense, the club are doing the right thing, and they recognise the strength of this protest on Saturday after we've tried to support the team to 3 points. It's Farhad Moshiri here that's way out of kilter with I don't know if he's out of kilter with the rest of the club, but he's certainly out of kilter.
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't been to a game for however long.
15 months.
15 months, and
almost as long as me.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there the
But can I just ask Paulo, what is there anything? I mean, what could he have said that would have maybe appeased people? Do you know what I mean? Because we got people saying, "Well, what do you want him to say?" I personally haven't heard the letter. Would rather he wouldn't have said a word now, because it's.
I could write his letter for him. And I would say, I recognise the difficulties that the club are facing.
Yeah,
and. It's a challenging environment. We have to strengthen all areas of the club, including the board, including the executive.
Yeah.
And I will be doing my level best to do that. I recognise that perhaps the board that I had when I first came here is no longer suitable for the conditions that the club finds itself in.
Yeah.
And we will be doing everything we possibly can do to improve matters, which includes bringing in fresh talent, which includes bringing in people with greater experience and bringing in people who understand when a business is in difficulty, what they have to do. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And if I can't do that, then perhaps it's the right time for me to, as the owner, if I'm Farhad Moshiri, to look for new owners.
Yeah,
that's what he should be saying.
Yeah.
And if he said that, he would sort of like deflate the balloon, because he would be giving a response that is reasonable and is actually what people are asking for. I mean, at the end of the day, what are we asking for here? We're either asking for change in the chair, in the board, and the executive, or we're asking for a change of ownership. What we're not asking
all of
for,
it,
or both, exactly. What we're not asking for here is for things to continue as they are, in the belief that everything's okay, because quite clearly it's not.
I don't know how you can say everything is. You know, I'm happy with everything that's going on. When we're in the bottom three, we're out of both cups. We're 11 days into a transfer window when the squad needs strengthening, and we've not done anything while others have. I think saying you're happy with everything is a bit of a silly thing to say, in my opinion.
Still got him?
Still there, Paul?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Go on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on,
I
mate.
can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all. As I say, this is not a time for him to be validating what he's done. This is a time for him, if he is going to write a letter, A, to listen, and B, to tell us what he's going to do differently in the future. Not that it's, steady as she goes and we're all good.
Yeah.
Because quite patently we're not.
No.
Yeah. It's Saturday's going to be very interesting, Paul. It's going to be a very, very interesting, just the whole day, because it's such a huge game, and obviously, as you said there, this is really going to have galvanised the whole thing, and it's just going to be a very eventful day.
It is. I'm glad I got the chance to chat to both of you, because I think if you think about when the coach greets first started last year, there was a lot of cynicism. And Evertonians don't really do this. This is what the Reds do. Blah 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 blah. And actually, the energy that was generated by it, and it was like an organic thing, wasn't it? It wasn't sort of something that was forced upon people. It was just an organic thing. It was like far surpassed anybody's expectations, either the fans or the club or the players or the manager, whatever. It just went absolutely wild.
Yeah.
I think we've got to take that same energy into the protest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the enthusiasm for greeting the coaches and the desire to improve the players' performance and to show the players how much we cared about the club. On Saturday at the sit-in, we've got to do the same, but to Farhad Moshiri. So people will sing "Sack the Board" and stuff like that. But actually, this protest is all about getting to Farhad Moshiri and saying to him, the people are at Goodison are the people who live and breathe Everton Football Club day in, day out on an hourly basis for many. And he's got to understand the depth and how much feeling there is in terms of what he's doing to our football club, because everything is in his control. It's not in anybody else's control. Yes, the directors or the executive can resign if they wish to do so. But if they wish to remain in place, the only person that can change that is Farhad Moshiri. So the actions on Saturday has to be directed at Farhad Moshiri, because he's got to understand his responsibilities and actually how far from what he's just written the club is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think both will get it, to be honest.
Yeah, but what I would say, Paul, is just on that, is like we were just saying before, it's people just need to be there on Saturday after the game. Doesn't matter whether they've got a flag or whether they're singing or whether they're directing chants towards. I think numbers. I think it's all about numbers Saturday. It's about strength in numbers, and it's showing the media on the outside who sometimes have looked at the situation and gone, "Oh, these haven't got the numbers." When we've known for years that there's a lot of people who are alienated but just don't know maybe how to feel about protest or whatever. I just think a simple protest of staying behind after the game on Saturday it should be enough for a lot of people, and if they do, I'll applaud them for just staying around after the game.
Yeah, spot on. And if people don't mind me saying this, it's got to be all around the ground. It can't just be like the Gladys Street. And, from the messages that we're getting, it is going to be all around the ground. People in the main stand contacting us saying, where can we get a banner so that we can stand in the main stand behind the director's box or next to the director's box with the banner. And if we can replicate that, all around the ground, that's
a bigger message, isn't it?
Back to Farhad Moshiri.
That's a bigger message, Paul, isn't it? Regardless of, like you said, as long
absolutely.
as it's relatively peaceful. I mean, don't overstep any boundaries, but just the image of that many people staying that'll be an indicator of how people feel. I think that would carry a lot more weight, I think, than
exactly. And I think again, just judged on the responses that we're getting, it's young and old. It's not any particular type of Evertonian. It's just Evertonians, people who care about the football club. Yeah,
absolutely, Paul. Paul, thanks for giving.
So,
go on.
All right, just one last thing.
Go on,
If we could have dreamt up something that could galvanise the fan base in the next 48 hours, 48 hours or 72 hours, Farhad Moshiri's just done that for us. So let's take this as a confirmation that what we're doing is absolutely the right thing to do, because he's proving himself not to be the right person to be running this football club at this moment in time.
Absolutely. Paul, thanks for your call. Thanks for getting in touch. As NS now, obviously.
No, thanks again, guys.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Thanks, Paul. See you now. Bye now.
Cheers.
Good stuff. That was the Esk from NS now. Obviously, we had Zach in on Friday to talk about it as well, and he was just giving us his thoughts there. So thanks for him for being in touch. But maybe if Farhad Moshiri started a banner for him, he could make his money back.
I think at the end of the day, there has to be change, even if it refocuses them or whatever. Because just right now, a few people have said it in the comments before. It's the sleepwalking thing again. We're doing all right, and this will be all right. And the fans got us out of this last season. I'm sure they'll do it again and all that. And where's the goals? We got no Richarlison this time round, and the fans, have they got the energy to do it again? And does it land the same way as it did last year? And Crimson VRS has 20 games of the season left, 10 wins, and was safe. It's winning every other game. That's we've won 3 in 18. So 1 win in 6. You're asking them to get 1 win in 2. It's a big ask. I personally believe 7 wins will keep Everton safe.
7 wins,
but we also need to start planning a bit bigger than that as well, and going, how do we spin this the other way though?
It's all about not just about
we're here again,
surviving. It's about what happens after that. It's about putting plans in place, isn't it? That's what we're saying. I think we've all come to the point now where it's not just about survive. Of course we all want to survive, but it's about what happens after we survive. What happens after we survive? Do we have to go through this again? And then everyone goes, well, we're in a new stadium. Do we have to go through it again? I think what we're asking for is, where are the plans? The same people are in charge. The same people are in charge of the situation. Just on the vote on Twitter, we've had less than an hour. We've had 2,361 votes. It's 93% no in favour of, are you happy with Farhad Moshiri's letter to the fans? 93%. What is it on YouTube, Ned?
I think it's 87 no. 88 no now.
How many votes you can see?
88%.
It's not bad. Listen, I've had people saying to me on Twitter, what did you expect them to say? What did you want them to say? And I get that. I understand that. I don't agree. But, I've got people saying, oh, well, he's backed every manager. And it's just like, yeah, but he's backed every manager poorly because he's backed them. They're not good managers.
Has he backed Frank Lampard? Because has he not been able to, obviously, because of the mistakes they've made before, and that's literally that's the problem, isn't it? I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it's, I suppose for him he'd probably look and go, well, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. But I think you can say you're assessing at all times. I think to just come up and say you're happy with stuff is a more difficult thing to do when people clearly aren't happy with everything. I do get it. People sometimes are going to back the staff, of course they are, and it doesn't mean always that you'd come out and go, well, these aren't good enough and that aren't good enough, because where's the motivation with that? I get that. I get that, absolutely, I get it.
As I said, I think it would be a massive signal tonight if the likes of the Fans Forum came out and give a response. You're the Fans Forum. If you don't think this is acceptable, then put a statement out. Don't just sit there. Voices have to be heard, I think now.
Liam says, gonna be honest, lad's not a fan of the Esky thing. But the thing is, Liam, he's in with the NS Now campaign, isn't he? He's part of that, so he's a spokesperson for that, so that's why. And the same as if we'd have got a member of Fab who wanted to speak, we'd have put them on. Obviously, they've got a meeting themselves taking place in 5 minutes, so we understand that. Or we had a Fans Forum member or an 1878 spokesperson, anyone.
As we've always said, we will always
give you the platform. Always.
If someone from Everton Football Club wanted to come on today and sell us, I mean, we've got the letter, but you know what I mean. This will always be a platform for people to get their feelings. If we start, we've got to make sure we get people's voices out there.
But also the same thing is that I've said this many times, and sometimes it's people misconstrue it in a different way. Is that we're not here to fight for people, but we're here to give people a platform. We'll always speak as fans, and that's why I do feel absolutely deflated after that letter. I can't, like I say, I'm quite often, I always try to look at the bigger picture. I'm still trying to do it with the letter. I'm still trying to look and go, what really could he have said? And that's why I'm thinking, is there anybody who, before that came out, said to him, how does this scan?
Yeah, how does this look?
What people are fuming with, do you think this is... It's difficult to get it. A few people have said that. What could he really have said? I get it. Maybe he could have just said, look, we are looking at all of this. We understand it.
Can I just say something, right? It's not about what he could have said.
No, I'm just looking...
No, I'm not about you. What I'm saying is, it's not about what he could have said. It's about what he is doing. These people aren't good enough at their jobs. They still have jobs. And all that letter has done is confirm that. There's nothing happening. It's clear he thinks... I've already seen it there. There's already a story out in the Eye saying we are after 2 attacking players. So that's what will happen for the next couple of days now. What Everton do is, they won't come out. They'll tell you all the nice things. You can have your flags. You can have your sit-in. But you know what they'll try and do? Guarantee is before kickoff, as a fella walking out going, we've just signed him, because that's how they try and fight fire with fire. They haven't got. I don't know what the right word is, but that's how they do things at Everton. That's how we do things. You try and head people off by going, look what we bought you. We bought you this. Don't worry about all of that stuff. This is what we got you, new 2 signings. That's what Everton do, and they'll put loads of stories in the press about trying to buy this player, trying to buy that player.
That's what most clubs would do.
Don't be fooled by that, as far as I'm concerned. So,
right, the last few. TJ Mid says, I'd be going mad if my CEO on board were losing me 100 million a year. Yeah. Jay said, people turned on Martin. I think he's trying to have a go with the fans, which is fair enough, but says, people turned on Martinez, rightly so. Refused to have Moyes back. Yeah, I've seen that. Fair enough, that's a fair point. Turned on Silva, fair point. And the problem with that, Jay, is that we were sold people were sold a vision, weren't they, when Moshiri took over all the things he said. And you're right, sometimes that people's patience became shorter than it ever should have been for certain things. That's the way it is, isn't it? It's football. I'm hearing it now. I hear it we share a studio where we hear the Redmen, and I heard a couple of them talking last week saying it's grim being a Red. That really is grim. Just different levels, isn't it? They've won the league, the Champions League, other stuff, and they're saying it's grim being a Red. And yet the stuff we've had for years. Moshiri is an easy scapegoat, Jay says. That's okay. I mean, the other stuff I was going, that's just, to me, is nonsense. But everyone's got their own opinion, of course they have. Martin says, I don't care what people say, Moyes was our best manager of modern times. And Paul says crazy Toffee is a cop-out.
There you go.
May well, but
Probably is.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Right, there you go.
We've done so, yeah.
2 hours. I didn't think it was going to be like this.
No, I thought it'd be home at 6:30. Well, no, on the way home. I didn't think we were going to get that, but there you go.
There you go. Right. Thanks for. We'll be back tomorrow.
Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't.
Be back at 1:30
Yeah.
for more Fallout. Thanks for watching. See you later.